Hello, everybody. This is Danielle Daniel, and I am a licensed clinical social worker and doctor of clinical psychology student studying different things about the brain. And I share with these on these Tuesdays with you for about 10-20 minutes. And I just am excited to be here with you as you join live or as you're watching the recording. Please type in and say hello to me and where you're joining from. I always love to see where you're at and imagine, the different surroundings that are around you. And if there's somebody who is on hello everybody, I see you joining right now, that can be a commenter. So I've got cats. I have to always pre-warn you, I've got cats. You might see one flying around. They're kittens and they love to wrestle and run and play. So as someone joins us, someone can be my commenter. I'm going to do an overview, kind of a basis, so that you have, I know I dive into all sorts of brain topics. I love seeing your likes and hearts go by. Thank you so much on this Facebook Live. But I dive into lots of different brain topics, from anywhere from mindset, belief, because I just love to share my passions with you. There's a lot of other things to talk about, but I love diet, nutrition, mindset, belief, and essential oils. So today you're going to get a basis of essential oils in the brain. Is it a placebo or is it a real? I mean, is it a real science? Okay, I have a cat having a sneeze fit, so don't mind. She's been running around. So anyway, please say hello. I love saying hi to you guys as you join. I'll watch these for about the next 24 hours and answer some questions. I don't answer them immediately, but when you ask questions or share your stories, it always helps me know what else to talk about and also learn more as well, because I learn from you guys too. So I'm in my doctorate, like I said, and my dissertation's coming up actually next year. I'm going to graduate in 2019. That's my goal. And hello, Mary. And so my plan with my doctorate, my dissertation, is to do a book called Psychoaromacology. And this reference book will be a guide on understanding the science behind essential oils and aromatics, basically how they affect the brain. So is it placebo or is it a real science? And that's what we're going to kind of go in the basis of today. So first of all, to get started, thank you guys for saying hello. I've got my little reference cards that I have created. Sorry, she's above me. You want to see? She's in her cat hammock. So I've got little cat hammocks. Got to keep these guys entertained. And she's crawling around. And there she is. She wants to be in the video, huh? Okay, she's going to try to jump. So anyway, this is Liberty. And then the little guy, he's down on the ground. I can't really flip it right now, but he is Lincoln. So they are my cuties. Okay, so I created these handouts. Now, I've got several of them out there. I'm going to give you the website, so if someone can type these in, this will really help you. But the ones I'm going to reference today is from AromaToolscom. So if you go to AromaToolscom, if you just search my name, all these will come up. There's one for children, one for adults, and then one on emotions. So yeah, thanks, Judy. I'm excited about doing the book. It's actually going to be most likely, I have to still get it all approved, but my dissertation, which is going to morph into a book to release. So I've been studying this for years. So let me tell you my little background. I started using essential oils over 20 years ago, but they weren't that potent. So I didn't bring them into my practice as a psychotherapist at all. I didn't have a diffuser in there. I wouldn't even use them that regularly. Well, I did, but not for regular health things, because they just weren't working that well. So I want you to understand, when people sometimes refer to essential oils or a placebo effect, they're probably not getting the correct chemistry. Because as psychiatrists, and they should know this, right? When they're prescribing medication, they have to play around with what chemistry works for what person and what amount. Okay, it's not just, okay, everybody gets fluoxetine for depression or anxiety, whatever it is. It's just everybody can't just, if the answer was just fluoxetine, then fluoxetine would be rich. But fluoxetine, there wouldn't be all these other drugs on the market. It's all about matching chemistry. Essential oils are the same. So you've got two components here: matching chemistry with your body. Oh, thank you for referencing, Donna. You're awesome. You did the whole thing. Appreciate that. So essential oils, matching your chemistry in your body, and having essential oils that actually have compounds that are high that cause an effect in the body. And let me give you my example of lavender, because I've researched this heavily with lavender. Lavender, we have it grown here in California. It's also, I know, grown in Utah. We have it in the US, right? We also have lavender in high altitudes of France and in Bulgaria. When you do a chemistry analysis on the two different lavender compounds, right? The essential oils of those lavender plants, the one in France and Bulgaria are higher in linalool and linalool acetate. Okay, I'm going to break this down. So linalool and linalool acetate are two compounds that cause this calming effect on the central nervous system, on anxious emotions, on blood, pressure. It's just amazing. So if you're going to buy a lavender from who knows where, who knows how much has the components that actually cause the effect, then yeah, it might be placebo, but it might not work like you think, and you think people are talking poppycock. I think that's a fun word, poppycock. It's just so funny. It's like an old time word. I love it. So anyway, so do you see what I'm saying with the components? It's like someone buying aspirin, but it doesn't really have the salicylic acid that it's going to need to calm your body down. Does that make sense? Because aspirin, Birch just says, yeah, I was making sure I was saying that right. So it needs to have those components high. Thank you, Rachel, for typing that in. So that's one piece of it. Okay, so then I say, okay, I've got anxious emotions, so everybody tells me lavender. So I grab lavender, right? And you know what? Lavender doesn't calm me down. And I know I've got high components of linalool and linalool acetate, right? So with that being said, you might want to try another chemistry match for your body. And maybe for somebody else, I'm just going to pull what I have right here. That's a calming oil. I've got white fir right here, okay? So let's just say fir oils. We've got Siberian fir, white fir, Douglas fir that are also calming in a different way than linalool and linalool acetate. So it's about matching chemistry. First, you have to make sure your oils have those chemistry, and then next, it's about matching the chemistry to your body. Okay, so that's kind of part of our placebo effect. The other thing I want to ask you is, when you drink a green drink, for example, and your body feels good, is that placebo? When you eat, let's think about that. If you eat a Twinkie, and maybe how many of you guys have ever overeaten like a really good, I love brownies that are like super gooey and rich. Like I like them more underdone than overdone. So, say you overeat on a brownie, which I have done before. One time actually, I still remember this because it made me so sick. I was fasting that day. And I wasn't going to break my fast yet, but I went to someone's house and they had brownies. And oh my gosh, I was like, okay, I don't need to wait till I get home. I'm going to break my fast right here. And I ate like a big fat brownie after fasting. That's like the opposite of what you want to do. I was so sick. So what I want to ask you, is that placebo? I know I'm eating a brownie, so it's going to make me sick. We can do that mentally, but there are some things that is pure chemistry. And I want you to understand, eating healthy makes you feel good. Eating crappy makes you feel bad. That's not placebo, that's science. We have shown in science how walnuts, when you break them down into the nutritional aspects, help the brain, right? When you take probiotics, how it helps the brain. I mean, this is not placebo. So with that, when you have an essential oil, like I had someone the other day that said, I used an orange and I just felt like lighter. I don't know, maybe it's just in my head. That's what she said. And I will tell you right now, orange essential oil making you feel lighter is not in your head. Orange essential oil, or citruses in general, because you've got the limonene content. So I've got a citrus bliss here, which I really like, and a cheer, which has a lot of citruses. Citruses elevate serotonin activity, which in turn does what? Serotonin is the happy chemical, right? So it's not placebo, and that's what I want you to understand. And there's real science. You can go to aromaticscience.com and look up research articles, or just go to PubMed. That's like public, medical hub for research articles. So the other thing I want you to know, when you look at research, they are giving people aromatics. If we're talking about aromatic science, they're giving people aromatics. They're not telling them, this is lavender, it's supposed to make you feel calm, so report if you feel calm. Okay, that would be skewing the research. So all they do is they give people a scent. They don't know anything about it. And the people report how they feel. So that's one way that research is showing, in a general sense, people are responding and saying lavender helps them feel calm after having these anxious emotions, okay? So the last thing I want to say about placebo effect here. So that's part of, what we're going into, the basis of essential oils in the brain. When you take a child that has no knowledge, isn't focused on mindset of their health, okay, or even a baby, okay, babies have no idea. How many of you guys have used, let's just go back to lavender, on a baby and had them go from tantruming to calm? On a cat. I've used them on my cats. How on your dogs, right? I have a cousin who, she has a little child that she's adopted, and she gets into tantrum fits. And so she bought a package of essential oils with me. And when you buy essential oils with me, you get to consult with me, right? And it's my cousin, but you get to consult with me on what to use for your family's mental health. And I know she was really dealing with a lot of stuff with her adopted children. So she one day texted me, and one of her kids were starting in her tantrum. And when she gets in a tantrum, her child goes into a dissociative state after a bit in the tantrum. She just is like, and she cannot bring her back down. So anyway, she texted me, she's starting her tantrum, what should I use? And I just told her to use this blend. It's called Serenity, and it's a blend of lavender and marjoram. It's got vetiver, all these oils that just cause this calming effect, okay? This is on a 2-year-old. 2-year-old doesn't have placebo, doesn't even know what the word placebo means. Okay, and maybe, the mom has, and then this is, again, my cousin who's a little skeptical, like, okay, I'm just going to say what she does. She's never had an experience. She doesn't know if it's going to work or not. I had her put it on the back of the neck at the occipital point, which is a soft spot. If you feel between your skull and your spine right now, there's a soft spot there. That's direct access to the brain. So she just put a little drop right there as her kid was tantruming. Within 3 minutes, she texts me back and she goes, is this stuff for real? I was like, what happened? Because I didn't know. I mean, depending on how severe, and also matching the chemistry, right? If it would work that quickly. And she said, my daughter's just laying here now, just laying here calm. She's not tantruming anymore. And she goes, she never does that. Usually goes into this high escalated and dissociative fit. And she was like, oh my gosh, this stuff is amazing. So I want you, just by sharing only a couple of my own experiences of between, science and placebo. You've got a 2-year-old child, doesn't have any idea. You have a mom that's just going to try it, but is skeptical. And I'm not even sure. I'm thinking, is this the right chemistry? I know these work, but am I giving her the right one in that right instant that she needed it? And it was right. So again, that will debunk the placebo effect. And if you don't believe me, try it on a cat, try it on a dog, or like Linda says, try it on your husband who doesn't think anything about them, right? Who might think you're crazy for trying to use them. So I just want to make that very clear, that this is a very real science. There's a lot of articles. And when you research the articles, it's usually not a full... A lot of them are the full, like lavender or peppermint. But a lot of times what science is doing, they break down the components inside of the essential oils, the chemistry, and they study the effect of that linalool or linyl acetate, like I've already mentioned, on the body. Maybe it's on a rat, maybe it's on a human, but they study that and they mark the effects just chemically. Okay, so again, you're taking out the placebo when you're seeing that whole compound effect. And then I will tell you, pharmaceuticals see, oh, well, this compound in this plant is working, so let's just take that one compound. We can't take lavender because that is part of nature. You can't patent nature. But we can take a little component of it, put a few extra plugs in it, make it synthetically. Not going to use a real lavender. We'll just make it synthetically. That way we can patent it and make a lot of money, okay? So these plants, if we know, the plants work, right? If we know they work in our body, right? This is pretty much a known thing with science, that when you eat plants, it's healthier. Look at any anti-cancer diet. The major part of that anti-cancer diet is focused on plants, a plant-based diet. It's not focused on a meat-based diet. I'm not saying meat's bad. I eat, meat here and there, but it is focused on plants. So if we know plants are good, where do essential oils come from? why would essential oils, why would we doubt that they would be working or think it's placebo if it comes from plant? You think, eating clove, for example, is super healthy in your body, on your heart, on your brain, and you put clove in your food. Why wouldn't clove essential oil? It's part of the clove. What about ginger? So I'm just helping, kind of bringing in the skeptical side of it. So those of you that, maybe share this with some people who are curious or maybe just think it's, crazy, whatever, that's great. But this will really help you look at it analytically in a different way, I hope you know. And that's really what this is about. So let me just, for the last few minutes, I dropped one of my things. Let me grab this. Okay. So let me share with you a couple of the items that you can just purchase on your own through Aroma Tools, or if you're in Canada, it's My Essential Business, and they have another one. Or I also have another, some other items on YourOilTools.com. So if someone can type those in, AromaToolscom, and you can do a search under my name, and these will come up. And then in Canada, myessentialbusiness.com, and you search my name and it'll come up, Danielle, easy name to remember, right? I get comments about it all the time. And then what's the other one? YourOilTools.com, and just search my name. I made sure they put that so people could find my stuff if you search my name. Okay, so on here, the first thing is there's two references on Aroma Tools. My Essential Business just has the one, but the one's for adults and one's for kids. The orange one's for kids and the blue one's for adults. So they have similar information, but the first I want to tell you is there's 5 different pathways that are really important for the essential oils to actually affect the brain, to actually penetrate into the brain. So one is going to be occipital that I already talked about. I got to slow down. The other one's your pulse points. So pulse points is around the trachea, around your throat, where you should feel a pulse, hopefully. If not, that's not a good sign. So you want to feel your pulse, and you can put the oils. So what I would do if I'm in a mood where I'm just feeling a little low and I need to feel uplifted, or I'm just kind of maybe dragging, maybe it's gloomy, maybe I feel gloomy, you would put a little like this on your pulse points, on your neck. And that will help that blood, it'll seep into your bloodstream and travel it to the brain. Another point that's really good, again, for mood and emotions is going to be ingestion. Ingestion is huge for those oils that you can ingest because anything that goes into your gut affects the brain. About 40% of what you eat affects the brain. So this is going to be a really good way, long term, to get the benefits that you want for your brain. So ingesting, especially something like just lemon essential oil in your water, in a glass jar or a glass bottle, you would drink this because you don't want to put it in plastic, because it does help detoxify, and plastic's a toxin. So anyway, this is a great detoxifier, which is also good for long-term for the brain. And then the last way, I think, 2 more ways. One is on the bottom of the foot, on the big toe, and that's just right here is that little acupressure or Chinese medicine reflexology point as well. And just you could try maybe frankincense, which helps to ground your mood and is really good for the brain with modulating inflammation as well as certain neurotransmitters. So you'd put just a little bit on the bottom of your big toe. This is a good one for pets as well. You can do some oils on the bottom of their paws because, again, the feet just have this absorbent into the whole rest of your body, and including the brain. And then lastly is aromatic. When you inhale an essential oil, it's diffusing in the air, especially like a citrus, it's going to go into your brain through your neural olfactory pathways and then penetrate into the limbic system. There, your body just communicates in chemistry, right? It's like Tetris. I don't know if you guys remember Tetris from the 80s. I used to love Tetris, trying to fit the pieces together. It was so much fun. I did pretty good on the little Game Boy. I'm really dating myself. I was a total 80s girl, right? Game Boy, Tetris. So chemistry, I like to break things down simple. Chemistry is the same way. You're going to be fitting these game pieces together, these chemistry pieces together into the brain. It's going to go, hey, we're a little low on some serotonin. Why don't we help modulate that, and which will help uplift your mood? Or, you know what, we're feeling a little like we need some more energy, and looks like there's a little norepinephrine, like a little more adrenaline is what norepinephrine comes from, is needed, so let's increase that. So it just communicates for the body in a very natural, subtle way. And I want you to think about this, like when you when you need help with sleeping, right? You need to be able to shut the brain off and shut the body down and just kind of calm things. Well, if you take a sleeping pill, what does it do? It just it's like force quitting your computer, right? Just force quits, like boom. Okay? Force quitting with the sleeping pill is very different than having lavender to use as you sleep at night. Okay? When you use lavender, what does that do? It's going to just softly and calmly modulate, or what modulate means kind of like moderate, or kind of means like regulate in an even fashion, the serotonin, melatonin, those things that you need for sleep. But it's not going to force quit you, right? So that's really the difference here, is between force quit and natural. And I have used lavender. Actually, I use this Serenity blend for sleep. And the one thing I noticed is they've got Serenity capsules that I take, because when I travel, it takes me till about the third night that I'm somewhere, if I'm staying in a hotel. By the third night, I can sleep good in the hotel. But the first 2 nights, I just don't sleep well, not in my own environment, noises. I'm just really aware. And when I went to Washington, it was last year, about a year and a half ago now, I was there. That was the first time I had those little Serenity, capsules that have lavender and marjoram and these essential oils that help calm. And we were sleeping. I've shared this before. We were sleeping in this kind of open area. We were there for a wedding. My brother was in we're in this barn that was made into, on purpose, was built to make it into little bed spaces. And so each horse stall, which was, not really ever used for horses, but had a bed in it. So my brother's sleeping in the horse stall next to me, and then me, and then these other, people that are from my stepmom's family that I didn't know, and we're on all the others, and then people upstairs. I'm like, oh my gosh, there's no way I'm going to sleep good. And I had just got the Serenity capsules, and I'm like, I'm going to try it, but I doubt it will work. I mean, okay, talk about placebo. I'm sitting here doubting it would work, because this environment was way noisier and just busy, and I didn't have walls around me. It was like I had a curtain, So I'm thinking, no way, okay? It's probably not going to work. And this right here debunks that placebo, because I'm in my head completely doubting it. I took those Serenity capsules. I slept 8 hours without a problem, and I never do that when I travel, let alone when I'm in an open environment with strangers around. That's just does not happen. So the best way to really challenge what I'm saying is try it yourself. Try something yourself. I really feel like lavender is a good one if you're ever having anxious emotions, or this one right here, Console, with lavender base one. If you're having anxious emotions, try it. And you can be doubtful. Go for it and see if it works. And I'll tell you, if you want to, put it, if your heart's pumping, put it over your heart. Or if you're just feeling anxious, put it right here on those pulse points and breathe it in. And you find out for yourself if it's placebo. And I will tell you, like I said in the beginning, there's 2 factors. You've got to have the potency of the compounds that actually cause the effect. You can't buy, the aspirin and all those things expire after a year or 2 because it doesn't work anymore. And so you can't take this aspirin that's 10 years old and think you're going to get the effect, because the compounds are lower. So again, you want those compounds that are high. And then the second thing is about matching the right chemistry. Anything lavender based, like oil blends and from doTERRA, are going to generally cause a calming effect no matter what. So on most people, it really does. So I hope that really helps. So that's how you would use them for the brain. And I've talked about the importance of the quality and debunking, the placebo effect versus real science. And, any questions you have, just please type them in. And again, you can get these that have all the effects that essential oils do on the brain. It has the ideal amounts. And then inside of these has, this is the child one, anxious emotions, stress, all the oils you would use. A lot of people ask me, what should I use for focus? And, I've already put it together right here, focus and attention. And you can see there's a lot of great oils in there. My favorite, which I don't have right here, but it's called In Tune. Hands down, it's been the best. It works for me and for every child I've ever given it to that has issues with focus. So I would highly recommend In Tune for focusing. But you'll see that there's some other, categories in here that you can use, and same with adults. So lastly, I just want to show you, this is a new item that I created that has emotions, because this is all kind of like, I want to, feel uplifted in my mood. That's what this one has. But this one I created off of emotions and took it from the chemistry of what oils do and put them into the emotions. So if you're feeling, let's just say, betrayed, okay? Certain oils that help with the emotion of betrayed, which is really a negative emotion going on in your mind. So, and also very, so you see, not uplifted mood, but a really low mood, right? So lemongrass and melissa are really good for the emotions of betrayed. If you're feeling compulsive, then black pepper, blue tansy, clary sage, juniper berry, there's a lot more on here. But this is a great reference for emotions, and you can use this anytime you're just like, okay, I'm feeling like I've got joyless on here. Joyless, blue tansy, geranium. If you're feeling lonely. And this will really help. My absolute, hands down, just favorite to have on hand that makes it even simpler is this. And it's a emotional aromatherapy already thought out for you. And I kind of pulled out a few of them. So if you're feeling like bored or maybe just unmotivated, you'd use Motivate. Not too scientific there, right? Unmotivated, use Motivate. So, oh, I love the smell of that one too. It's got like a cinnamon, which if you think of spices, they're very warming and driving. They're very heating. So that helps with motivating. It helps to like warm you up and get motivated, right? And then another one I really like, I'm just going to share, peace. Okay. So these, really good for stress. These different blends right here are some of my favorite for emotions. I keep them in my purse. In fact, I'm missing passion, which is one of my favorites because it's in my purse. So I keep these in my purse. I put them on as perfume, and I just regulate my emotions with it, which helps with your mental aspect. So there's twofold here. If you can get the emotion with the chemistry level, and then you can go about it at a mindset level, or vice versa. Those are really what you're looking for. Chemistry and mindset. And the essential oils will absolutely be game changers for, like Linda said, game changer, for your mindset. And then it helps you have what you need to change your mindset and think about things in a better light. And I will just tell you, I've had many teenagers that could care less about essential oils that come into my office, and angry mood. And the minute they sit down and start talking and smelling the oils, their mood changes, and they're like, I don't know what it is, but when I get in here, I just end up feeling better about life. And you can't, teenagers are a great one. You can't do placebo effect with a teenager, right? So they themselves, even though it's, like I said, it's not a forced quit, right? It's a very slight effect. They're noticing, gosh, I just feel better. And that's what you want. That's why we eat salads. That's why we, eat, healthy things. And that's why we use essential oils, to feel good. And that's the whole purpose. So I hope this cleared up some questions for everyone. And I hope you have a wonderful Tuesday. And we'll see you next week at 10 a.m. Pacific time on my Brain Talk Tuesday. Change the name of it. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Bye-bye.